focus a little bit on parents, because a lot of parents are watching these videos as well as students. So I think it's really important for parents to understand in which way they can support their kid the best. And through my experience of being an athlete as well as being a coach, I had a lot of close work with different kind of parents, and I can tell you what kind of structure should be followed in order to actually give a positive push to your kid rather than putting them down subconsciously. So the first part I would start with is that it really doesn't matter if you played a sport before or you didn't play, or if you understand it really well or you don't. In any case, you are not supposed to coach your kid. So that's why we have separate name and title for a coach and a separate name and title for a parent. Because if you're trying to be their coach at the same time, what's going to happen as a consequence is that they're just going to mix your role in their head. And what does it mean? That after they're done with the game or with the practice, when they come in the car and they start driving with their parent, if that parent is starting to coach them or give them any kind of critiques on the game, they're going to start feeling that pressure every single time slowly, and in the worst case they will not be enjoying those drives as they did before. And even though if it's a little thing, you want to just give them some pointers or something, it's still not good to do it too often. It's understandable that sometimes things happen, so you want to put it out, it's fine, but just say, okay, just we have 2 minutes of talk, and after that we're not going to be measuring this. Because what you don't want to do, you don't want to get your kid to think of you as a coach who is also not their coach and not their parent at the same time, if you're going through that way. So understand your role. You're not their coach, and you're not supposed to give them any details of the game. You can, if you would like to speak about some details, you can go straight to coach and speak about it, but I'm gonna get into that later. I would rather not have you do that. It's better if the actual player goes to the coach and speaks about those details, but this will be a topic for later. Second part will be consistency. So when we're speaking about the athletes who are 10 to 14 years old, they really didn't have much time to build any kind of consistency unless you gave them some kind of tasks that they needed to do day over day. So what does it mean? It's your responsibility to put that habit in your kid's life, especially about water polo, because before they were not they were in school for 3 grades, and the school teachers gave them some kind of tasks that they finished or did not finish, and they got different kind of consequences for that. In water polo, it's very simple. If you are not consistent, you're not going to be successful. So it's really important that parents understand that they are the ones who need to make an environment where the kid is forced to go to the practice every single time, and the practice is scheduled, unless of course there is some kind of a problem, health issue or anything. But also in this situation, it's parents' responsibility to recognize when the kid is actually not able to go to the practice, or when they're just feeling a little bit tired and they're just not feeling like going to the practice. In that case, the parent needs to recognize that and need to separate those things clearly. Which brings me to the third point, which is daily involvement. What I mean by that is that parents are supposed to know what is happening in the practices of the kid, what is happening in their environment in terms of their peers, and how is their relationship with the coach. Because when an athlete doesn't give a full performance, there is always a background of it. One of the options can be that the athlete isn't getting enough coaching, that the athlete is tired, or simply there is some internal problem that needs to be solved in order to for athlete to perform on 100%. So what do I mean by that? I'll put out an example. If an athlete isn't performing well and is going to all of the practices, is in a good shape, but simply when the athlete goes in the game doesn't have enough confidence. This is an interesting part, because in order to solve this, we really need to understand, in order to help them to solve this, we need to understand for what reason is this happening. So as we are going through the talking with our athlete or kid in this situation, we need to understand how is their relation with the coach, in which way they are communicating. Maybe there is a miscommunication in those. Maybe they had an issue with one of the other teammates and they simply don't feel comfortable playing with them. So those are all nuances that we need to understand in order to help them to solve some of the challenges. Because it's not all black and white. Okay, athlete is performing well or not performing well. Okay, you need to perform better. That's not always going to work. So if you really want to help them to succeed, we need to understand all of the details that are happening on a daily basis. And that is the reason why we need to ask them how was their practice, what they were doing, how is the relation with the coach, how is the relation with all of the other teammates. And the fourth part would be the pressure. So this kind of goes together with not being a coach and not putting a pressure on athletes. So I want to divide those two somehow. We need to set a certain bar for them that they cannot go lower than that in terms of the performance, that we have some kind of expectations. So if you're going to the practice every single day, if you're putting 100% of your effort, if we are involved in all of your life situation in the pool, we want you to perform this in this way. That's why. If that is not happening, then we need to go back, and through understanding this, we can solve the problem. And we, of course, want them to succeed, so we will, again, accept them to perform well. But I wouldn't put this as the first thing. So don't put too much pressure on them in terms that if they don't perform well, that there is a different kind of energy in the house, in the car, in anything. Really, because this is just a smaller part of their life. They go to school, they do different kind of other activities, plus they do water polo. As I mentioned before, we want them to succeed, we want to put some kind of expectations, but if they are not met, we want to go back and see for what reason they didn't perform well and try to help them that way. Rather than when they go in the game, we want them to feel pressure that they need to achieve something. So they're supposed to go to the practices, put 100% in whatever they are doing, and then go to game and show what they were doing in the practices. And this is the way it works. Of course, there's going to be a little bit more or less pressure in a different games, but the main thing here is that they enjoy it. So whatever they do in the practice, they can apply on the game, and they need to enjoy it at the same time. So what I want to say is, don't put too much pressure on them. Also, don't say if we lose doesn't matter, or that we have no expectations or anything. So there is that golden middle there that we're supposed to follow, and in this case we're going to be able to succeed. So to summarize, first of all, you're not a coach. Doesn't matter if you know even better than the coach knows. you are not a coach, you're a parent. The second part is it's your responsibility to put that habit in the kid's life to come to the practices every single time when the practice is scheduled, unless some extraordinary circumstances are happening. And it's your responsibility to recognize, are they actually not able to go to the practice, or they're just trying to trick you in some way that they're tired. Third part is, as busy as the life is in outside of the variable environment for the kids, we need to be really involved in their daily routines, in their relationship with the coach and the other teammates. This doesn't mean that you are going to be on the pool watching every single detail that they're doing. You just need to talk to them and get their opinion about their environment. Fourth thing, don't put too much pressure. The most important thing is, if the expectations are not met, don't change the energy towards them, because again, you're not their coach. Their coach is going to fix that. So if they don't meet any expectations, you are not supposed to be angry on them, but you will try to help them nicely through the third part. And again, don't put too much pressure. Also, don't set the bar way too low. And then the last thing I would mention is communication with the coach, where if there is a problem, this is really important. If there is a problem between athlete and the coach, athlete or your kid comes to you and speaks to you, that is the moment when you tell them, okay, thank you for telling me this. Try to give them advice and tell them, okay, now you go and speak with your coach, because coaches appreciate when athlete comes to them and the athlete actually brings up the problem, tries to solve the issue. And this isn't just going to help them in water polo, this is going to help them in life later, because you're not going to be always there for them to hide them from any kind of the risks or any kind of the problems that they are supposed to solve. So I would really encourage all of the parents to tell to their kids, okay, any problem or challenge you have, go straight to your coach after the practice and speak to them. Be open, because also the coach wants their athletes to be successful and they want to help them as much as they can.